Hey there, water signs. I hope you are doing lovely. Thank you for joining me for another group session. So if you're Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, these messages will be for you. Now, friends, if you haven't come to a group session before, all good. Just understand that not all messages are going to resonate, and that is just fine. If you need a private session, please check me out at my website, kellyfergusonreadings.com. And if you like these messages, please don't forget to support me so I can continue to support you. So whether that's a like, a follow, or a subscribe, I appreciate your support. So friends, this is Halloween week. So I'm leaving it kind of open right now to see what Spirit wants to bring forward for you guys, okay? Because right now the veil is at its thinnest, which means that you'll be able to receive messages, possibly understandings and insights, and possibly some magic, right? So let's check it out. Let's see what's going on for our water signs. Overall energies, please. Water signs, please. What do we need to look at for water signs? Overall energies. Overall energies for water signs, please. Okay, there we go. Water signs, and this makes sense for you guys. Healing the past. Okay, because water signs, we know that traditionally you are emotional lovey-doveys, and sometimes that when it comes to stuff in the past, you can get hurt. You do take things personally at times, or maybe react emotionally. So it does make sense that you could be looking backwards or have, let's just say, more insight into some of the learnings or into the hurts and teachings that has come across lately, okay? What it says here is I step into my future with strength and clarity. And if you notice this card, it's kind of like this little plant here is trying to put down roots, okay? So when you stabilize yourself and ground yourself, that's when you're not reeling emotionally, but yet you can see things calmly and clearly. So definitely a nice suggestion for our water signs here. So again, keeping this open because this is Halloween week to see what kind of information is going to come forward for you guys. Let's see, hold on, cards are jumping out already. I'm going to use my Thelina deck, which is typically a pretty slippery deck here, so I'm going to do my best to keep everything under control, not happening already. And just a quick thank you to anyone who is new to my channel or to following me on Instagram and my readings. Thank you so much for joining. I hope these readings are resonating and you are enjoying them. Water signs, please. What do we need to know for this week? Water signs, water signs. Okay, let me try to do this without cards jumping everywhere. Water signs, please. Where do we start for our water signs? What are the messages here for water signs this Halloween week? Water signs, please. Here, this is where we start. Ooh, ooh, okay, all right. More, please. Okay. You moving on, water signs? You moving on? Good. Good. Okay. So, water signs, I feel that there's possibly a relationship that you are moving on from, and there has been a lot of relationship stuff showing up for water signs in the last few months, that's for sure, okay? But I feel like you are getting over this. You are starting to get back either into old routines or connect with other people again, possibly finding either new love or coming to acceptance of how things went. There are cycles going on here for you though, water signs, that's for sure. Okay, so your energies at the beginning of the week are what you're bringing with you, okay? Nine of Pentacles, right away. Beautiful card. So this is about you and your independence and owning your independence. This is your newfound freedom and you feeling like I don't need anyone to support me. I don't need, and it's not to say you don't want a relationship, etc. But this is you knowing and understanding that I have to be strong first before I can be in a good relationship, right? Because if you're not strong by yourself, how are you going to be a good partner for somebody else, right? The whole, at least in my opinion, the idea of being in a balanced relationship is having one whole person who's connected to themselves and honest with themselves, walking beside another person who is owning their own power, knowing what they want, and honest with themselves too. Two whole beings walking beside each other, enjoying company, rather than people leaning on each other, okay? And that doesn't mean that in a partnership you can't lean or rely on your other or on your partner to support you, but it means if you're gonna be in a relationship, you have to be solid in yourself first, right? Such a strong message, especially for water signs, right? Because so many of you are lovey-dovey creatures. Love feels wonderful. It's great to be in love, okay? But If that's the only thing that's going on in your relationship, meaning you focusing on how someone else makes you feel, then what are you doing for yourself to feel good, right? You got to feel good within your own skin first, okay? So Knight of Swords is also showing up here. So this is also making me feel that you are, with this Nine of Pentacles, that you might be like, you know what? This is the new me. This is where I'm going. I don't need anyone else. And water signs, you typically do like to have relationships. There's nothing wrong with that, 100%. But you might be kind of like quick to the punch in terms of making decisions, or think like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. Okay, so just be careful. Don't make any rash decisions here, okay? Because I also see the Hermit in reverse. Now, this is telling me that it's possible that you kind of got a quick idea that, I'm independent. I don't want this other person. I don't want to connect with them. That's old news for me, whatever. That's totally cool. But this is also telling me you might be scratching the surface on these feelings rather than diving deep into them to understand what were my takeaways from that relationship. Did I learn from that relationship? Did I grow? Because sometimes we can go through experiences, but if we don't learn the lesson, unfortunately or fortunately, the universe is going to bring you another lesson that is very, very similar, or another person who's very, very similar, to relive the same experiences to see, did you learn the lesson now, or do we need to do this again? Okay, so take the positives, take the lessons and integrate them in so that you move up and forward instead of reliving similar experiences, okay? And this is where I'm talking about you possibly going into some patterns. This wouldn't be for everybody, okay? But I had the Six of Swords upright. So for you in your current energy, okay, not what you're bringing to the table, but what you're thinking now, you are feeling like, you know what? I know what was in the past isn't good for me. I need to move away from that. I need to start off on a new foot. I need to go in a different direction in order for me to feel stronger, get clarity, know and feel like I'm in the place of where I need to be, okay? This is you walking away from something that isn't good for you, whether that's a person, whether that's a mindset, whether that's habits and belief systems. This is you knowing that what you've been doing isn't good for you and turning over a new leaf and going in a new direction. Excellent. But I have the Page of Wands in reverse in the heart of your spread, which is telling me you don't really want to do this. You might be moving into uncharted territory that you're not comfortable with. So as a result, change can be hard, right? It's hard to initiate changes within yourself or to bring in new habits, right? So for example, I brought this up in another reading. If, for example, you're eating foods late at night because it's comfy and it feels good to have comfort foods and snack while you're watching TV, that's great. But at the end of the day, if the next day it ruins your day because you don't feel physically well, then you might have to break that habit. But it's hard to break a habit that feels good, even if it's not good for you, right? So you may not be you may not be your own best cheerleader. We're making these changes as concerned, okay? And right after it, check it out, water signs, we got the Lovers, all right? So this message can be different for other people depending on what is going on in your life. This could be you going right back into dating or going back into relationships and trying on a new partner. What is this person all about? Let me give my chances with this person, okay? And this isn't to say that you're rushing into something necessarily, but please make sure that you're in a good space before you come forward. Because like I said, if you don't learn the lessons of what the universe is trying to bring your way, the universe is going to give it to you again, just in a different way, all right? And we want to learn so we can grow and evolve and move on instead of reliving the same stuff over and over. For some of you, this might be you saying goodbye to something that didn't work for you and therefore calling forward a relationship for yourself that is more suited for you, okay? But friends, like I'm telling you, I do think there's a bit of a repeating pattern here, okay? Because in the future with this, I can't lie, there's no mistake here. If the Lover shows up and then we've got the Ace of Cups, this is talking about new love, okay? Ace of Cups in reverse is telling me that possibly you thought this was all wonderful and golden, and it turns out once you kind of walk in those shoes for a little bit that suddenly you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. I'm not sure this is for me, okay? This possibly might mean that you need to put on a new hat and look at things from a new perspective in order for you to understand what you want and what is good for you. Because sometimes, especially if we're talking about, relationships and people, if there's someone that you see that isn't your normal type, let's just say, you might automatically jump to conclusions and say, oh, that person's not for me. But why? Is it based on habit? Is it based on what your belief systems are? Is it based on what you've always done and therefore you want to keep the same pattern going, for example, for a woman, are you always attracted to like the alpha male type? And so you think to yourself, well, hey, if I go for someone who isn't an alpha male, maybe that will be better for me. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So this is definitely telling you to try on new things as well to see, will this look better? But you also have to be able to shift your perspective to see, okay, if I'm trying on new things, is this good for me? Or am I just comparing to how I want to feel or how I felt in the past, whether it was good for you or not, okay? Because there's definitely some stuff showing up in the past that wasn't good for you in relationships or partnerships. Water signs. Moving forward in your future, we're talking 8 of Pentacles. So with this Lovers and the Ace of Cups in reverse showing up, this is either telling you, number one, when you make changes, you have to continually work at it. You need to stay in the mode of change. You know how they say, like, if you want to start a new habit or secure a new habit, you need to do it for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks in order to get yourself into the new habit. This might be telling you to stick with it and to move forward, even though your comfort level is a little bit off, but to work at it and to be persistent so it becomes habitual. This can also tell you, for some of you who are walking back into a relationship and maybe going into a relationship because it feels good instead of where your focus needs to be, this is telling you to stay focused on what is right for you and what is going to have you move forward rather than just what feels good, okay? And if you do this, see, we have some stuff showing up here for you, the Sun, okay? So the Sun is the happiest card in the deck, which is lovely for you guys, okay? I love that I see this coming up. But this is also telling me about taking ownership and acceptance of where you're at in order for you to feel good. Because anybody can put on a new hat and walk around and feel fancy or like pretty for the day, but is that going to be lasting? No. Inner lasting happiness comes from you being happy, not from external factors, not from a new hat, not from a new lover, not from a new career, but from being happy and satisfied in yourself. So these cards are 100% saying when you don't feel comfortable, come back to yourself. Make sure that you are feeling good with yourself, with your routine, with your habits, with your lifestyle. And when you are happy within your own being, then the universe conspires to bring you all the things to keep you happy, right? Get that positive momentum going and keep it going so that the universe can keep bringing you lovely things. Very nice messages for you, water signs. Now, because it's Halloween week, we're also going to finish up with the Halloween Wheel of Fortune. Check it out. So, water signs, what messages are here in your best good from the Halloween Wheel of Fortune? Water signs, please. Messages for our water signs. I love this Wheel of Fortune. What do we got? What do we got? Okay, hold on. Is it on the white or is it on the orange? I think it's on the white. Let me just move this really delicately. Yep, it's in the white. It is, wait. The time is right to make new friends. Okay, so water signs, what this means for many of you in a relationship, yes, you can move forward in a new relationship, but don't apply labels to your relationships before you start going through it, okay? If you're attracted to someone, that doesn't mean now this is not your new, like, love of your life. This just means that you like somebody and you need to know more about them, okay? So start doing new things, start bringing new joys into your life, but don't commit to it meaning anything or being a label. Walk forward, do the work, and when you are committed with yourself and you have your own lifestyle stuff that we talked about, you feeling good first, then all the other things are gonna come forward. So there's definitely stuff coming your way. Make sure you are in a good space to receive it, water signs. Water signs, if you like these messages, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you need a private message, please don't forget to contact me on my website, kellyfergusonreadings.com. Thank you, friends.